There is a group that has sinister intentions for Earth lurking in the shadows of our society. They come from another world and are rumored to interfere with mankind's existence, perhaps changing our ancestors' genetic code. These mysterious beings are linked with almost every theory of conspiracy, and it is rumored that our societies have been infiltrated at the highest levels of business and government. But who is that, and where is it from? Who are the Reptilians? Reptilians are a supposed alien species that came to Earth during the time of the ancient Sumerians. In fact, much of what we know of them is documented through Sumerian writings. What we do know is that at some point during the Sumerian reign, the Anuna, which translates to gods, came from the sky and settled on the earth. These gods were then referred to as Anunnaki, gods who live on Earth. Many people associate the Reptilians with the strange arrival of the Anunnaki because of the sudden emergence of reptile worship after the Anunnaki were settled. There are several arguments that claim the Sumerian writings are not enough evidence to link the Reptilians to these strange Anunnaki. What cannot be denied, however, is the many reptilian theories that have come to light as a result of the Sumerian writings. There are two theories as to where the Reptilians came from. Some believe that the Reptilians evolved on Earth millions of years ago until they were able to venture into space. Their reappearance during the age of the Sumerians was simply a decision to return to Earth, not the takeover of a new world. Others believe the Reptilians came to us from the Draco constellation and then traveled throughout the galaxy before they discovered Earth. They then assimilated into Earth's government and helped to propel the ancient world into an age of enlightenment. Some of these reptilians bred with humans and created crossbred offspring that are supposedly responsible for feats such as the ancient pyramids in Egypt. Theorists would tell us that the reptilians are a humanoid species that appear to be human from the feet to the neck, but have a face that resembles a reptile. They tend to be much taller than the average human, and at least during the point in time, and have knowledge which is thought to have helped in shaping the ancient world. In fact, some theorists claim that they were responsible for helping to create the major religions that came out of the Middle East, such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So what do these strange creatures want? Supposedly to enslave the human race. And really, what better group could there be to blame all of the world's conspiracies on than the first alien settlers to make contact with our ancestors? There are many different variations on how these reptilians may have set out to enslave the human race. According to some theorists, the Anunnaki accomplished this by genetically modifying the DNA of primates to make them more suitable servants. Others will argue that the reptilians simply modified a short segment of human DNA to make our forefathers more submissive. There are some variations of this theory that claim that humans can only play a small part of their brain capacity because of how the reptilians altered our brain structure. Many who believe this theory point to the reptile genes that can be found in our brains and are responsible for a large portion of our brain activity. According to Sumerian writings, the supposed plot was foiled by a character named Enki, a god that came to Earth from a different place than the Anunnaki. He freed certain humans from slavery by telling them a secret, though we are no longer certain as to what that secret may be. Apparently, Enki's tactics didn't pan out for the long run, because many believe the reptilians are still alive and well. In fact, there are some that believe the reptilians compromised the majority of the world's governments and businesses. Popular reptilian candidates include Queen Elizabeth II and George W. Bush. Reptilian leaders like to supposedly keep the humans of the world in check by poisoning their food and distracting them with politics and war. The most popular belief among all reptilian theorists is that the strange alien group hopes to unite the countries of the world with a new world order that will give them complete control of our societies once and for all. Physical appearance. Not surprisingly, there are relatively few descriptions to go off of as to what the reptilians actually look like. There are supposedly at least two orders of reptilians, the winged draconians and the reptoids. The draconians are an albino reptile species with wings. They are the highest in the reptilian hierarchy. The reptoids are next in the pecking order. They lack wings and have scaly skin that is sort of to a brownish hue. The reptoids comprise the soldiers and scientists of the reptilians. These reptilians can range anywhere from 5 to 12 feet in height. The draconians tend to be taller than the reptoids and have scaly skin, reptile-like eyes, and uncommonly strong. They do not wear a human shell to blend into society, but instead use vibrations to alter the way they are perceived by humans. Hybrids. There are supposedly hybrids that exist in human form that are not aware they are reptilians. These hybrids are controlled by the reptilians, existing in the fourth dimension, and are used to further the New World Order. These hybrids have existed as some of the world's greatest leaders and have performed some of the most amazing and terrifying acts in history. So how do you spot these reptilians and hybrids? Most believers will tell you that the most common way to catch a reptilian in action is to watch for what most people simply see as camera glitches. Most reptilians will be Caucasian or have light skin. They also tend to have green, hazel, or blue eyes that can sometimes change in color. Many reptilians have some sort of scar or other defining feature on their faces to make them stand out. Theorists believe that this may be an attempt to cover up their roughness of their skin. To catch a reptilian, monitor their appearance in photos and videos. Believers claim you can easily spot the difference in a human and a reptilian or a reptilian hybrid by watching for several key clues. One of the most popular or common for most people is to see the appearance of red eyes in images. This is fairly common for people who take pictures on low-gate cameras, but will supposedly happen frequently if you encounter a reptilian. There are also sometimes changes in the appearance of the eyes of reptilians when they are being filmed. Other changes include subtle scaly skin and slight blue-green tints to their skin. Reptilians and their hybrid kin are usually void of empathy, or at the very least have extreme difficulty trying to feel or express emotion. They will typically be unsympathetic to the troubles and suffering of those around them. They also tend to have a need for power that drives them. Reptilians are extremely intelligent. They have a deep thirst for knowledge that drives them, especially when it comes to space and science. Many believers also claim that reptilians are constantly working to create chaos and destruction in the world around us. This is usually accompanied by the claim that reptilians feed off of negative energy and it is necessary for them to sustain their way of life. Others simply believe that reptilians crave control and will do anything to maintain their grip on society. Popular conspiracy theories. Paul Benowitz. Among all of the UFO conspiracy theories that exist in the world today, few are as recognizable as Paul Benowitz's supposed discovery of an underground UFO base located in Dulce, New Mexico. Benowitz started off as a highly respected physicist that happened across secret projects being conducted by the Air Force and the NSA at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. He believed these projects were somehow related to cattle mutilations and local alien abduction stories that were common in the area. His investigations led him to the town of Dulce. There is a base that operates out of there. It is said to serve as the base of operations for a group of unfriendly extraterrestrials who use the 7th level of the base to conduct genetic engineering experiments. These extraterrestrials are commonly identified as the reptilians. Benowitz took his claims to the UFO community where they quickly spread and were accepted by many believers. However, there are also those who do not accept his claims as truth because of his quick descent into madness and admitted interference with military and government agents of misinformation. In spite of all of this, there are still many who believe Benowitz's theories to this day. In fact, a former security officer at the Dulce base, Thomas Costello, confirmed that the base does have 7 levels. According to Costello, the 7th level consists of natural caverns that he believes used to be frequented by several extraterrestrial races in the past. David Icke. When it comes to the reptilians, most of today's theories come from the now infamous David Icke. Icke was originally a pro football player, also known as soccer in North America, but had to retire due to arthritis. For a while, he was content with serving as a sports broadcaster and representative of the Green Party, but soon descended into madness when a psychic told him that he had a special purpose on Earth and would soon receive a message from the spirit world. Ike soon wanted to be known as the son of the Godhead, and was convinced the world was being run by a group of Babylonian Brotherhood Reptilians who used shape-shifting to allow themselves to blend into society as prominent figures and leaders. The goal of this brotherhood is to create a new world order that will give them complete control over the free world. Many who believe in reptilians today have had their views heavily impacted by Ike and his teachings. There are those who debate over Ike's methods. Some believe he is simply a conspiracist gone mad, while others believe his theories are simply encouragement for non-intellectuals to question the state of the world today, and a lens to help them examine events more closely. Regardless of what Ike's goals are and what his state of sanity is, he is and always will be one of the pioneering voices in the reptilian conspiracy. Herbert Schirmer. Last but not least, we cannot forget the infamous account of Herbert Schirmer encountering a UFO on the side of the road in Ashland, Nebraska. At first, all Schirmer could remember was his encounter with a strange craft hovering above the side of the road. Later on, however, he agreed to undergo hypnosis to uncover hidden memories that had been, quote-unquote, lost. He recalled being escorted onto the spacecraft and interacting with beings who looked just like humans but were dressed in a gray and white uniform with the picture of a winged serpent on the chest. Conspiracy theorists everywhere were quick to link the account to reptilians and accounted for the human appearances of the entities as being due to the shape-shifting abilities of reptiles. Explanation of the myth. Many who tried to shed light on the introduction of the reptilians as a common conspiracy theory often point to Robert E. Howard. It is Howard's work, Shadow Kingdom, that first introduced the idea of serpent men to literature as rulers of a secret society that controlled the world. The book incorporated the idea that reptilians could have thrived in the lost worlds of Atlantis and Lemuria and been responsible for the great technologies of the ancient worlds. In fact, many of David Icke's theories come from literature by Howard or authors who were inspired by Howard. Others simply point to the Sumerian writings as the cause of the reptilian hysteria. It is undeniable that these writings are a source of inspiration for many, including Howard, and there are many mythologies that believe the writings hold some truth, however small. There are also those who simply see the many reptilians that appear in history as hyperboles or imagined creatures to explain the world in a way that made sense to our ancient ancestors.